What's the difference between logic and propaganda? Welcome to Critical Thinking Scan, where we look at how you can think about any faith-challenging message and arrive at a biblical, logical conclusion yourself. I'm Patricia Engler, and today I'll be unpacking check number 5 of the 7 checks of critical thinking, which any Christian can use based on the techniques that helped me as a Christian student at secular university. And check number 5 of thinking critically about any message is check for propaganda. Propaganda is anything that tries to persuade by appealing to something other than logic. For instance, here's a poster from World War II, which is trying to persuade you to give money to the Nazis because a cute little girl is asking you to. That's not an appeal to logic, it's an appeal to emotion. But you know, people can use propaganda to argue for apparently good causes too, like resisting the Nazis. This poster, for instance, shows an image of monster hands with Nazi and communist symbols reaching towards a child, and it says, "Keep these hands off, buy victory bonds." So it's trying to persuade you by appealing to your emotion of fear. And the image of the monster hands reaching for the kid also creates a negative association in your mind, making you link the enemy with something monstrous. Commercials, however, often use the propaganda technique of positive associations. They'll show you happy people drinking pop in happy places so that you'll link pop to happy things and want to drink it too. But some messages in culture link the Bible to negative things like child abuse. They'll say that teaching kids the Bible is on par with locking kids in basements. That's not really a logical argument against the Bible, it's just propaganda. So is labeling, name-calling, saying that people who believe the Bible are losers. That's also not a logical argument against the truth of Scripture, it's just propaganda. And some other common types of propaganda rely on really powerful psychological forces, one of which is authority. That's where a message sounds true because its source looks authoritative. For instance, maybe they're wearing a lab coat or holding a clipboard or speaking with an intelligent-sounding accent. And some pretty scary research has shown that when someone who looks authoritative and educated is telling you to do or believe something, even if you don't want to, it can be really hard not to. Another powerful force is conformity. Humans are socially wired creatures. We want to follow each other and be like other people and be accepted and liked. So a lot of propaganda appeals to our desire for conformity, harnessing what's called the bandwagon effect, saying basically, everybody's doing it, so you should do it too. And this type of propaganda works really well because it plays on a common heuristic or mental shortcut which people use to make quick decisions. It's called the follow the majority heuristic, and it's based on the assumption that the decisions which most people are making are probably the right decisions. This assumption can work well in a lot of situations, so we tend to use it automatically. And we face so many persuasive messages every day that our brains often rely on heuristics like this to make decisions quickly, bypassing logical processing. So propaganda frequently takes advantage of these mental heuristics to persuade us without using logic. Another example of this is the imitate the successful heuristic, where people may try to become successful themselves simply by mimicking whatever successful people are doing. That's how advertisements which use celebrity endorsements work. Shoe companies, for instance, may show famous athletes wearing their brand of shoes, so that makes people subconsciously assume that buying those shoes must be some sort of ticket to success, when you think about it, that's not really a logical conclusion. In the same way, people are more likely to believe a message from a good-looking person, even though a speaker's looks are irrelevant to whether their message is true. So propaganda uses all sorts of these non-logical persuasion tactics to make people act without necessarily having to think. And all you have to do to catch propaganda is to ask, why does this message sound persuasive? Does it appeal to logic or to something else like emotion or aesthetics or people's desires to be accepted and liked? And are those things relevant to whether the message is true? That's check number 5 of the 7 checks of critical thinking, check for propaganda. For more on how to think critically about any faith-challenging message, you can access my other CT scan videos packed with tactics, tips, and tools that helped me as a Christian student at secular university. Thank you for watching. Hey, it's Patricia. Just wanting to let you know that if you like these videos, are on board to share the message of biblical authority, and want to give, you're welcome to help Answers in Genesis produce more content like this and equip more people to defend their faith by making a one-time donation or becoming a monthly supporter by clicking the link below. Thanks so much.